Ahoy hoy! So I'm going to be taking a look at a WTB Verdict Wet tyre. So this is basically a mud tyre of the Verdict, which I looked at a few months ago. So the reason I wanted to get it is because I've been riding the Verdict and I've been really happy with it, but it's got really wet where I am and the grip has somewhat disappeared. So I decided to give this a try. Now the main difference between this is that it has some slightly taller knobs and the tyre is slightly narrower, so it cuts through mud slightly better. So let's take a look at it in more detail. So as you can see, I've got it in the 29er version and I've got it in the light casing with the slash guard. I'll put up a chart with all the different versions you can get it in and the various weights. A brief description of it. And then here's the actual tread pattern. As you can see, it's siped. Basically means it's got cuts in them, so it increases the surface area of the knobs. And then the side knobs are pretty aggressive. So I'm just going to see how this inflates on the rim with a floor pump, see if I need to use gas or anything. So I'm using muck-off tubeless sealant. I just got it fitted onto the rim. See how this inflates. There's the pop. Bad check. Yep. That's sealed up. Bit of sealant's come out there. My rim's got a slight dent in it, so it tends to be a little tricky to get it sealed, but that went up straight away. Let's see how wide this comes out. These on. Just slightly under 2.5. So for comparison, I've got it next to a Verdict. The Verdict is here, and the Verdict Wet is here. As you can see, the Verdict Wet comes up slightly narrower, but it's also considerably taller. I'll show you side by side. So this is what it looks like when it's actually on a bike. I was going to run these front and rear, but the clearance on my reckoning is a little bit tight. So what I've decided to do is run a Michelin Wild Enduro, but the front version, which is slightly grippier. Here's what the clearance looks like on this. So I've only done one ride on this so far, but I've been really impressed with it. I was finding myself with a lot more traction than I was expecting. So I was expecting the tyre to slip, but it was actually finding grip. So what I'll do is I'll run this over the winter and I'll come back and do a follow-up video and talk about what it's like to actually use in the worst conditions. So that was a look at the WTB Verdict Wet tyre. I'm always interested to hear what other winter and wet tyres other people are riding, so please feel free to post a comment below and tell me what sort of tyres you're riding. And if you got this far into the video, I appreciate it, and thanks for watching.